Earth still has gravity. I know some of you needed to hear that. We'll get to why in a moment. This week, the Iran war continued. The government released its fifth batch of UFO footage, and a rumor spread across social media claiming that on August 12th, 4 days from now, Earth will lose gravity for 7 seconds. 40 million people will die from falls, and NASA has been secretly preparing for this classified event with a $90 million program called Project Anchor. 2 of those 3 things actually happened. I'll let you figure out which 2. I'm Skelly. It's Sunday. Let's roll. Day 161 of the Iran War. Last week, I told you the U.S. military had made preparations to strike Pickaxe Mountain, the fortified underground nuclear facility near Natanz, where Iran is believed to have moved centrifuges and near weapons-grade uranium. Trump said the U.S. would hit it very soon, very hard. Pickaxe Mountain was not struck this week. What did happen? The U.S. military completed a heavy wave of strikes against dozens of IRGC targets across Iran's southern province on July 29th. Then paused. As of this recording, neither the U.S. military nor Iranian media have reported strikes hitting inside Iran for several consecutive days. The longest sustained pause since the intense bombing campaign began in mid-July. CNN reported that the U.S. military has made preparations to launch strikes targeting Iranian nuclear infrastructure, including Pickaxe Mountain, and those preparations have picked up momentum, but the strikes have not yet happened. Here's where things actually stand diplomatically, and I want to be precise because the public statements from both sides this week have been, to use a technical term, contradictory. Trump said the U.S. and Iran have had very good talks and expresses optimism a deal could soon be reached. On the other hand, Iran said it is not currently seeking direct talks with the United States. Sticking points between the two sides remain, including Iran's insistence on a new regime for governing the Strait of Hormuz, including toll collections, which the U.S. has rejected. Iran's ballistic missile program is also not on the negotiation table, a position the U.S. has been unable to move. Quote, very good talks. However, Iran isn't talking. The U.S.-Iran conflict has entered what Britannica describes as a new phase, with Saudi Arabia now helping hit proxies and diplomacy stalling again. Analysts this week reiterated that the exports through the Strait of Hormuz may not return to pre-war levels regardless of how negotiations proceed, because the infrastructure damage and the erosion in trust will take time to repair, even if a ceasefire holds. The gas prices you're paying right now are not a temporary spike waiting for a deal to reverse them. They may be the new baseline. Your food storage window. September is now 3 weeks away. The harvest price spike we have been tracking since June is 3 weeks from landing on your grocery store shelves. The prep math has not changed. The urgency has not decreased. And Pickaxe Mountain is still there, still unstruck, and still the most consequential single decision of this war. When it happens, and the preparations are real and ongoing, we'll cover it. Until then, the pause is not a resolution. Plan accordingly. Story number 2, and I want to spend some real time on this one, not because the claim is credible, but because it is spreading through the prepping community specifically, and that matters. Here is the claim, and it is spread across TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook since earlier this year. The claim states, a secret NASA document called Project Anchor leaked in November of 2024. It describes a coming gravitational anomaly caused by increasing gravitational waves from black holes. These gravitational anomalies will cause Earth to lose gravity for exactly 7 seconds on August 12th, 2026, which, ironically enough, is on a Wednesday. If you know, you know. The event will allegedly eliminate 40 million people from falls. NASA has secretly been preparing with an $89 billion classified program to build underground bunkers for the elite. Let me address each part of that statement. NASA has explicitly denied this. A NASA spokesman said plainly, the Earth will not lose gravity on August 12, 2026. Multiple fact-checking organizations conducted searches of NASA's official publications. The NASA Technical Report Server, the FOIA releases, congressional records, the academic publications. No document called Project Anchor exists anywhere in public records. No reputable news organization has produced any evidence that such a document exists. Scientists say the proposed mechanism is physically impossible. Earth's gravity depends on its mass. For gravity to switch off, the planet would have to lose its mass. Gravitational waves, which do exist and were first directly detected in 2015, do not work this way. They are ripples in space-time that pass through matter without turning off gravity. Fact-checkers have traced this rumor to social media videos rather than any verified government leak. Specifically, TikTok videos that use dramatic text and pseudo-documentation with no verified sources. The narrative spread through short-term video platforms and then migrated to podcasts and other sites. Here is why I'm spending this much time on a hoax. The prepping community is a target for this kind of content, not because preppers are gullible, but because preppers are paying attention. And people who are paying attention are more likely to share information that seems significant, seems urgent, and seems like something most people are missing. This is a strength of the community. It is also a vulnerability. The Project Anchor story uses classic misinformation techniques, specific dates, dramatic stakes, invented project names, precise financial figures to create an aura of inside knowledge. It sounds like a leak. It sounds like something the government would suppress. It uses real scientific terminology, such as gravitational waves, embedded in a completely fabricated scenario. And it is spreading through the same channels where legitimate preparedness information spreads. Here is a test I want you to apply to any piece of information that comes through your feed claiming a specific catastrophic event on a specific date with a specific death toll. Ask yourself, where did this come from? Not who shared it. Where did it originate? Is there a primary source? A government document with verified file number? A named scientist at a named institution? A reputable news organization that has independently verified the claim? Project Anchor originated on TikTok. No primary source has ever been produced. No verified document exists. The claim spread through copying and pasting, not through evidence. There are real things to prepare for. We cover them every week on this program. An actual war, an actual supply chain disruption, an actual food price spikes, actual cyclospore outbreaks, and actual heat events. Those are real. They have verifiable sources. They have documented downstream effects on your life. Gravity turning off for 7 seconds on Wednesday does not. August 12th will come and go. Gravity will remain. And the people who spent this week stocking up on beans and rice instead of planning for a 7-second levitation event will be better prepared for the things that are actually happening. And if I see someone tied to a tree on Wednesday, I will be laughing my tailbone off. For what it's worth, I've experienced a lot of Augusts. Gravity has been consistent throughout. Our third story, and this one has me a little perturbed. I want to be clear up front. I take the UAP disclosure seriously. I have covered every release from the Pursue program on this channel. I believe the government transparency on this topic matters. The prepping community has legitimate reasons to pay attention to what governments do and don't reveal about unexplained phenomenon. With that said, the Pentagon released its fifth batch of declassified UAP files Friday morning through the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, also known as Pursue. The release included renderings of a reported sighting of a triangle-shaped object that hovered above the ground for a few seconds before darting off without leaving a trail, and several videos of small dots dashing across vast spaces, similar to other previously released videos. I watched all of them, and here is my honest assessment. As someone who has been around long enough to have seen a great many things in the sky, the small dots dashing across vast spaces are, and I say this with the full weight of my professional objectivity, generally difficult to distinguish from a fly on the camera lens. I'm not saying they are flies on the camera lens. I'm saying that if you showed me this footage without context and asked me to identify the object, fly on the camera lens would be my first guess, which is a long way from unidentified aerial phenomenon. Here is the genuine prepping angle on the UAP disclosure, and I mean this seriously. The Pursue program represents the first time the U.S. government has systematically declassified and publicly released UAP documentation as an ongoing program. That is historically significant, regardless of the quality of any individual release. What this program has established across 5 releases is that there are documented encounters that the government cannot explain. The sum of those encounters involve objects with flight characteristics that exceed known human technology, and that at least some military and intelligence personnel have witnessed and reported phenomenon that does not fit conventional categories. That matters for situational awareness. It matters for understanding what the government knows and don't know about what's operating in shared airspace. And it matters for the prepping community's broader principle, which is that you should want to know what's actually going on, even when what's actually going on is uncertain or uncomfortable. Some of the prepping community believes the news does not matter. Skelly believes it is important to know what is going on. Now, I would like to take a second to talk directly to whoever is in charge of choosing the releases for the Pursue program. If you would like the public to take you seriously, please, next time, release something interesting, not what appears to be a fly sitting on your camera lens. This is not worth the government's money and our time. And that's your week. The Iran war is in a diplomatic pause. Project Anchor is a social media hoax that originated on TikTok. And the Pentagon's 5th UAP file release was, well, less than exciting. Please remember, August 12th will come and go. Whatever you do on that day, whether you're watching the total solar eclipse, filling your gas tank, rotating your food storage, or just going about your life, gravity will be present for all of it. I have this on good authority. That's your Skelly Report. Keep prepping, and we'll see you next week. Assuming we're all still here. Hey guys, all of our videos now are sponsored by my Patriot Supply. Emergency food, water filtration, solar generations, and more. Go check them out. Link down in the description. And if you use that link, yeah, we do make a few pennies, but helps us keep doing what we're doing. Thanks a lot, guys. Go check them out.